Greetings, this is Foundational Saints, and here we will be featuring the prophet Elisha. We will delve into 5 components within the ministry of Elisha. It doesn't cover all aspects of his faithful journey, but I found these points interesting in Scripture. The first component covers Elisha's humbleness. The second part covers his visions or dreams. The third component covers Elisha confronting kings or leaders. The fourth component addresses his persecution or trials. And the fifth part covers his third heaven correspondence. The third heaven correspondence can either come from the Lord or an angel. The context of Elisha's ministry occurred during idolatry, instability, and war with Syria. Part 1. Being humble or beloved. Elisha is introduced to us with his association with Elijah. He shows his humility by serving Elijah. 1 Kings 19:21. So Elisha turned back from him and took a yoke of oxen and slaughtered them and boiled their flesh, using the oxen's equipment, and gave it to the people, and they ate. Then he arose and followed Elijah and became his servant. This is also confirmed by people of Israel during the absence of Elijah. 2 Kings 3:11. But Jehoshaphat said, "Is there no prophet of the Lord here, that we may inquire of the Lord by him?" So one of the servants of the king of Israel answered and said, "Elisha the son of Shaphat is here, who poured water on the hands of Elijah." Some of the people knew there was a successor, and it was Elisha. The second component is experiencing visions or dreams. Elisha was able to pray for his servant to see a spiritual vision when the king of Syria was making war with Israel. 2 Kings 6:17. And Elisha prayed and said, "Lord, I pray, open his eyes that he may see." Then the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw. And behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. 2 Kings 6:18. So when the Syrians came down to him, Elisha prayed to the Lord and said, "Strike this people, I pray, with blindness." And he struck them with blindness according to the word of Elisha. So the chariots of fire showed up again, just like it did with Elijah. The third component is Elisha addressing leaders. In some cases, a prophet of God is used as guidance for a king during battle or other situations. 2 Kings 6:12-13. And one of his servants said, "None, my lord, O king, but Elisha, the prophet who is in Israel, tells the king of Israel the words that you speak in your bedroom." So he said, "Go and see where he is, that I may send and get him." And it was told him, saying, "Surely he is in Dothan." Elisha acted as an advisor who delivered divine messages from the Lord within these situations. The fourth component is persecution or trials. While being used to perform miracles, some youths mocked Elisha and his bald head in Bethel. Afterward, they were punished from Elijah's prayer. 2 Kings 2:23-24. Then he went up from there to Bethel, and as he was going up the road, some youths came from the city and mocked him, and said to him, "Go up, you bald head! Go up, you bald head!" So he turned around and looked at them, and pronounced a curse on them in the name of the Lord. And 2 female bears came out of the woods and mauled 42 of the youths. The fifth component is the third heaven correspondence. Before he became a prophet, Elisha desired to stay with the prophet Elijah, even though he was told that he was to go to Bethel. God had other plans. In 2 Kings 2:11-13, Then it happened, as they continued on and talked, that suddenly a chariot of fire appeared with horses of fire, and separated the two of them. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. And Elisha saw it, and he cried out, my father, the chariot of Israel and its horsemen. So he saw him no more. And he took hold of his own clothes and tore them into two pieces. He also took up the mantle of Elijah that had fallen from him. This is a third heaven correspondence that takes place in the physical world that Elisha witnesses. Elisha's prophetic ministry would begin soon as he took up the mantle. The power of God was clearly with Elisha, manifesting through miracles and answered prayers, thus confirming his role as a prophet. This concludes the 5 parts. Take care, friends.